Welcome back to another episode working on my brother-in-law's 1997 TJ Jeep Wrangler. Now you would have seen over the Christmas period we took it away on a trip, did a bunch of tracks, did some camping out of it. He's worked out what works, what doesn't work, what's broken, what needs fixing. It's currently in the shed in a bunch of pieces. We've got a heap of work to do on this thing, so let's jump into it.
Proudly supported by Opus Campers, Ultimate 9, Superior Engineering, GME, and in part by...
First thing, good news, these have already been installed. You would have seen in the last series, he had no windows on his car for the whole trip. The windows did turn up and they are in. So he has some windows on his Jeep. We've got a big list of things here to do. We've got parts, more parts. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks coming up. I'll jump over to Berto, who has already started the first modification accessory add-on onto the Jeep.
Another day in the shed. Today we're working on the ute. So I'm back in the shed, another day, working on the Jeep today. First up, he has got, it's front runner. It's a table for the rear door, because he figured he's got his fridge and everything he lives in the back. He's got nowhere to prep food or do anything like that. So let's rip into this box, see what it's like, see how it fits. I reckon he's gonna really enjoy this upgrade. I'm gonna open up this table right on top of the best table in the shed, the GQ chassis mate. This table is not actually for a TJ, it's for a JK. But all the forums say that this fits, and he said this is the one I want. So I think I'm gonna have to drill a couple of holes, maybe use some rib nuts, something like that, to fasten this on, because it's not actually a direct fit. Let's figure this out. So I just removed the wooden slide out from it. Can mark some holes on this, I suppose. I'm just gonna go get the angle finder, find the level of this, and then I'll match this to the same level. And then we'll find some holes to drill. 1.95, it's gonna be close enough. One here, one down here. We'll go to the same one here. I really should make sure it shuts with it on there, which I can't because the clamps, but I'm pretty confident it will. I am gonna drill some pilot holes. I've just got a little drill to start with. I'm gonna go the whole hog. I'm gonna mark them all first, and then I'll pull the table off and I'll drill them fully. They're all marked out, so now I'll send this through them. So yeah, I just got to figure out what size hole I need to drill for this little fastener. I'll drill that out, push them in, bolt them on. That spreads out, won't come off. So I wasn't too happy with their choice of fasteners for our application. The long bolts, and then also their what they call jack nuts didn't quite suit this, because since this isn't for a TJ, it just wasn't the right choice. So I've just gone and got some steel M6 rib nuts and some shorter bolts. And instead of just having the 4, I'm gonna have like 6 or 7, so the load's spread over more bolts, and we'll get that nice and strong, and he'll be able to put whatever he wants on the table then. The only thing is, steel rib nuts are not the easiest things to squish. You really got to put a bit of muscle into them. All right, we've got them rib nuts in. Hold it up there and get some bolts in it. Hold it in. Table all bolted up. There is room for more, but I've left it for now because it's pretty strong. It looks like the only thing really moving is the actual hinge to the door. So I reckon the door's gonna break before this does if he overloads it. But look how nice that is. You know, cut food, whatever you want. There is a little Allen key which stops that, so you can fully pull that out and put it on top, or you can just keep it at the table. And then it's got a nice latch that locks in, and then this also can't come out. That looks nice. That's a good piece of kit. Next job coming up on the Jeep, as you've seen on the last trips, it has problems starting when it's hot.
Are you sure?
I have a sneaking suspicion it's the fuel pump and the fuel pump module with the filter, and also the fuel gauge doesn't work correctly. So I've ordered from the States a whole fuel pump module with, you know, your level, fuel pump, and the filter all built in. So I'm gonna have to drop the tank out. We're gonna install this and hopefully we see a good improvement, because that was a bit of a struggle when we were away. And it was a hot day and it wouldn't start. I wasn't enjoying it, so I'd rather do it now than have to try and do this out on the tracks. So first step, we've got a nice cover. I've got to pull the cover off and then hopefully it comes out. I've never actually pulled one of these out of these, so it's gonna be a learning experience for both of us. A couple of bolts are out. I'm gonna have to undo the filler neck. Once it drops down, I'll be able to undo the electrical connector and then the fuel lines that go to the top, and it should come down. I'm fighting it, but we're getting there. Fuel tank's out. Now I need to get the fuel pump module out, which there's a bit of dirt and stuff around here. I don't really have a blower in the shed. I'm gonna wipe out as much dirt from around the top of this as I can, and then I might get some brake clean, and then that'll stop any loose, dusty air flying up into this. Boom. Give it all a bit of a wet up. I'm probably gonna have to get a screwdriver and a hammer. It's not the correct way to undo this top, but I also don't have the correct tool to do it. So that is moving slowly, just light little taps. It's not even really leaving a mark on this ring. Loosened it enough that I can get it with my hands. That ring comes off. It's got a thread in it, as you can see. Screws down onto the tank. We'll let that drain a little bit. So there's very, very dirty fuel in there. It's all rusty around here, and the filter has actually gone. It's not on there anymore. Got the seal for the tank. It comes with a new one. All right, so I've got the tank up on a table. I've got a jiggle siphon and a couple of jerry cans. I'm gonna drain all the fuel out, make sure everything's clean, and then I'm gonna make sure everything's the same. Even if the new fuel pump is for some reason wrong, I still need to drain it so I can put this tank back in, because it's literally nearly full and I'm not that strong. I might let it go for a minute. So as you can see, the new module has its own new arm and level sensor. It also has this pre-pump filter on it, which this one should have one and it's missing. So this one is made out of metal, this one is plastic. They are normally plastic, I haven't seen many metal ones. But the level goes to the same height, the same depth, so I'm gonna pretty much guarantee this is gonna work and not have a drama. I'm gonna get this installed in the new tank. I'm gonna get this installed in the old tank, and then we'll be able to get this back up into the tank. Cut that shit out. That shit's gone, buddy. Before I put this new fuel pump module in, I'm gonna check these two breathers for the tank. They're sort of vents. I need to make sure that they're good. So I've got the breather off the actual car. All right, so that one is operating how it should. It also has a rollover valve, so if you do roll the car over, it blocks and fuel doesn't run out of these. So they're both operating how they should. I should just make sure one more isn't blocked. That's about all you can do. Inside the tank's clean. All the fuel is out of it. I've got 98% of the fuel out of it, so I might just get a very clean rag. I'll give it a fresh wipe and we'll call that good. That one there is good, and the filler's obviously always good. It's massive. We have a new seal. You can poke down in your little home. That even fits in there good. So I think we're 10 out of 10 for it being the correct filter and pump. This is always the funnest bit, getting these to start without the proper tools. I'm just gonna nip it up roughly the same amount it was before. Next step will be to put this back in the car and then give everything a test. Here we go. This thing's on, cheeky, cheeky, cheeky booby. Yep, yeah, it's working. Half-inch shot, probably the best shot we can get. I'm gonna get the floor jack, put it up under this, plug this in, plug the breather in, plug the fuel line on. We've got the tank bolted in. That was a bit of a mission, harder than it looked. I'm gonna hook the filling neck up, put some fuel in it, we're gonna give it a test. So I've got the tank back in, it's all plugged in. I've just poured 20 litres of the fuel back into the car. Now I'm gonna give it a start, see how it goes. See if it starts. Gonna give it a second, give the fuel pump a second to prime up. So it starts up, revs, runs good. Next job up on the Jeep. He's complaining about how loud it is and how hot the transmission tunnel gets. I don't know if he's realised. It's a soft top. It doesn't have proper doors. It's going to be loud. It's going to be hot. But we're going to reduce the heat and the sound with the best stuff on the market. We got car builders. They've already done a little bit in the car, the boys have, but they're still not happy with it. So I'm going to go over the top, extra, add this stuff on top, and then there should be a good barrier, because when they're just bare metal, you get the heat straight off the engine, straight off the exhaust, straight off the gearbox, radiates straight onto that metal, and it has to transfer somewhere. So if we put more things between it, the less likely it is to come all the way through into the cabin. First step is going to be to pull the seats out. That's one chair out, one more to go. That's two chairs out. Now I've got to give this a bit of a sweep out and probably a brake clean and pull this bloke out. Well, one of the boys lost their scrunchies, eh? Put their man buns in. Yeah. Why is there so many different sized balls in this thing? This thing's a piece of shit, just so everyone knows. Ball of shit. After a bunch of fighting to get out this center console, it's out, it's up here. Still got wires connected. They're tucked way up under the dash. I'm not pulling them out, so I've just sat it right up there. I'm going to cut out a section to go up here and we'll be on. I'll stick that down and we'll keep doing that until we cover the whole floor. As you can see, I've got the driver's side done, the rear wheel arches and the whole rear cargo section. Now I'm making my way down through the handbrake area and into the passenger footwell. This is only stage one, so it's a pretty long process when you do the whole car, but after this it's going to be well worth it, hopefully anyway. It's still going to be a soft top, so. I've been home, I've came back, another day in the shed, finish off this sound deadening job. So, got the mass noise liner here. I've never actually installed any of this, so let's rip it open, have a look, see what we're working with. So that's rubber on top, foam on the bottom. We put this in, we just cut it to shape. It doesn't get stuck down, so you can pull it out, wash your car out, put it back in. It's a nice, heavy mat. We'll see how that goes. So next up, on the Jeep build, he's got no head unit, he's got no speakers. Normally these Jeeps have a factory soundbar that goes on the roll cage above your head. His was all ruined, he threw it out. We have bought from the States a DS18 soundbar, which is factory fitment, so it'll bolt up in the same spots, but it holds 4 6.5-inch speakers and then 2 1 3/4 tweeters. So I've been to the shop, got a nice CarPlay doubled-in head unit, a 10-inch kicker under the seat sub, and then we've got 4 Alpine Type S speakers, and we still have the 2 tweeters coming. So step one of getting this job done, I'm going to pre-drill the holes to hold these speakers in. So I'll get all them in, get the wires all ran, and then I'll be able to figure out how this mounts into the car. That one's pre-drilled. Now that I have the speakers in the housing. I've also put the end mounts on. I need to pull the soft top off so I can sit it up there and see if there's screw holes. And if there's not, they have given me big self-tapper screws. So now I've got it in there. I'm gonna mark some spots to put wires through. It comes with a couple of wires with some glands on them. You just gotta drill the hole, so I'm gonna do that. And then I will be able to fully install it, move on in to installing the head unit. As you can see, I've marked some holes. I'm gonna drill them. There's nothing behind it, so I can get it right there. Soundbar's installed. I'm gonna move on to installing the head unit. I'm not sure if there's brackets in the dash. I'm not sure if there's wiring in the dash. So if there's not, I'll have to wire this whole thing from scratch. So I've got the dash fascia off. As we can see, it's a double din unit, but the double din I got doesn't fit in here because there's a tray. So I had a quick YouTube, and apparently I need to remove this heater control unit out so I can cut this little table out so the new head unit will fit. I've checked my head unit to the fascia and it fits perfect. So apparently this is just a modification you have to do to a TJ. Good, any of this. This definitely isn't the best way to be cutting this out, but I don't have much else and the grinder isn't gonna fit in there. Trays out, beautiful. Now while I'm here, I better check this wiring. It's another day in the shed, working on the Jeep. So I've got the head unit all wired up. It's in. Another day in the shed, working on the Jeep. Have the Pioneer head unit, kicker sub, 4 Pioneer speakers and the soundbar all installed in the car now. It's going to be a bit of an upgrade over the little, don't even know what brand this is, but little portable speaker that he's been running. That didn't sound good. Anyway, it's going to be better than what he had. So I'm going to move on to the next job, which is after the trip. We had a rear diff on this car start making a bit of noise. Pinion bearings have gone, and the lockers that were in this car also leaked, which we hadn't used it. It was unknown since we bought the car. It was twin locked, but it turns out they both leak. They both pump oil up out of the breather. So I've ordered all new seals from ARB. They're coming, but I've got rear chromoly axles, a diff rebuild, like a bearing kit. We were going to change the diff ratios, but it's already got 4, 5, 6s, which is what we were going to change it to anyway. So I'm going to go on in, rip this rear end apart, put it on jack stands, get it all stripped apart, waiting for the new ARB seals to come, which should be here tomorrow, so I may as well get a jump on that now. As you can see, I've got the axle out. I put the drum on backwards with a couple of wheel nuts so I could use it as a slide hammer because it was actually stuck on the race a little bit. And as we can see by the oil, well, the greasy sort of stuff that's on there now, is that we had a lot of contamination from water. Once it gets contaminated and the oil loses its proper viscosity and operating factors, the bearings aren't lubricated properly and then they just wear out. I'm going to do the same for the other side, but I don't need to show you again because who wants to watch me do the same thing 16 times? Next step on this rear end is I've got to get the carrier out. So I need to undo the locker airline so that when I pull the carrier out, I don't break this copper hard line. I've got the locker line undone out of the top. Now I can undo these carrier bolts and then hopefully I can pull the center out. So you got to remember, important not to get these mixed up. They only go on one side. You also can't get those mixed up. So they're the shims. So we need to keep them on the side they also came out of. I'm replacing the bearing, so the bearing and the race can get mixed up, but you don't want to mix up the shims at all. So I'll pull this out from here and we'll get a better look at it. So I've got the centre out. The bearings on the outside of it actually look all right. It's only the pinion bearings on the pinion in there, that's what's worn out. I'll undo them, get some pullers and tools, and I'll pull the bearings off, replace them with new bearings, and we'll go from there. I also need to clean out the axle tubes. They're full of all the old dirty grease, so I'll throw a rag in there, poke it through with a big rod, and clean it all out. So I'm just giving this a bit of a clean out. Had all that muddy water in it, muddy oil, so a bit of brake cleaner. I've got all the important bits on the bench, the locker, the ring gear, and I've got the pinion out. As you can see, they don't have a crushable crush tube to get the pinion preload. They have a bunch of shim stacks and an inbuilt solid spacer. So it's roughly the right height, you just got to stack it. Since we're only doing a bearing, like a replacement, we're not changing the gears or the housing, I can potentially just pull off both of these bearings, put the replacements on, put it back with the same shim stack, and it'll be pretty damn close. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to pull these bearings off, and get it all replaced. You'd be probably thinking, what are you replacing it with? So I have what they call a gear install kit. This is also from Jeep Connect, Off-Road Connections. They're pretty much literally got everything you need Jeep related. So I've been getting everything from them. What do we got here? We have a seal, we have new ring gear bolts, shim stacks, some more shim stacks, an oil guard, a new nut, and the two bearings. Nice Timken bearings made in America. Can't go wrong. So they even give you silicone for sealing up your housing. We have the gear marking compound and a brush so we can brush it on and get our good correct gear pattern. And they've even given you red Loctite, so you really can't go wrong with this kit. I need to pull this pinion bearing off this pinion. And to do that, I've just had to run to the shop and get a nice puller. Now, this is a 10-ton hydraulic puller, so hopefully this will just pull it straight off. Everything's all oiled up, making it a bit slick, but looks like it is coming. So we've got it off. So next up, I've got the old pinion bearing off, the lower one. I've matched it with the part number that's in the box, they're the same. So I've got the new one, I've got to press it on. So I've got the press. I don't know if this is going to be strong enough to press it on. It's a little piece of stainless, but I need a pipe that'll slide over, not damage the surface where the next bearing goes, that I can press. Because as you can see, there's a pinion shaft in the way, so I can't just straight press this on. So I've just cut that off the length that we've had laying around. I'm going to go over to the press, see if I can get that on. If I can get that on, happy days. I've got the spacer. I've also got this so that this doesn't just slide straight up in the hole. Put him on top. Fits nice. Alright, we've touched down. So now to see if it's going to press on. So far so good, but the further it gets on, the more load it gets on it, the harder it gets. So I've made it home. That's successfully pressed on. Fully all the way home, spins nice, didn't damage the bearing putting it on. Perfect, that's what we're after. So I've got to go under the car, hit the race out, or as Tyler calls them, the races. He's gonna have a race getting them out apparently. So I'm gonna bang them out, bang these in. I'll be able to put the shims down, the bearings, see how it goes. That's how they came out of the car, just like that. Fresh bearing, pinion, got the old shims, boom. Got to poke it in from the back, put it on, got to tap the seal on as well. So we got another day back in the shed. I finished up yesterday setting up the pinion preload in this Jeep rear diff. So now it wasn't straightforward like it was meant to be. It was meant to be just change the bearing, put it all back where the shims were because it was already all set. But whoever did this last time didn't do it properly. So now I was initially just going to change the bearings on this carrier, put it in with all the shims, but now I'm not sure that it's all set up correctly, so I'm gonna have to put this in the car before I change the bearings. How it was. I'm gonna check the pinion height. I'm gonna check the backlash. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I have to change it, set it up correctly, otherwise we're just gonna have the same problem again. So let's get into that. Before I go whacking this in the car, I'm gonna give it a bit of a brake clean, get half of this dirty oil off it so I don't get all dirty while I'm doing it, and then we'll be able to get a better idea of what's going on in this thing. Let's try and get this in there. Poke the shims in. That's not ideal. With the shims in there, I can still get a screwdriver in there. So I better get some more shims because otherwise it's gonna have 0 preload. The backlash feels all right. I've got one side on. I've just banged the shims in. As you can see, I've got the screwdriver wedged in between where the shims go, which isn't ideal because they're meant to have bearing preload, and this shouldn't just fall out. It should be like a bit of resistance. Otherwise you get premature wear of these 2 side bearings. And if that can move side to side, the backlash will change because it'll be able to move while it's in there. So that kit came with a bunch of shims. I'm going to get my verniers. I'm going to take some measurements of what they are so I know what I've added and what I haven't added. 0.3, 0.47. I'll grab the thick one to start with because there's a pretty big gap. Like as you can see, that one just slides in like it's nothing. That one's going to add a bit of snugness, which we don't want it crazy tight. We just want it a little bit of bearing preload. So, backlash is too much. Obviously, I need to put a couple of shims on this side instead of that side. None came out on this side. So, what I reckon's happened, this diff hasn't been set up correctly. And when we looked at it, and the pinion bearing was shagged, the diff was all the way that way with heaps of backlash. And I need to move it this way to the driver's side of the car, which engages the crown wheel and gives you less backlash. So, I'm gonna get to doing that. It's gonna be a bit fiddly. I'll give you an update next time I give it a check with the dial gauge. We'll see how close we can get this thing. Boom. I've got the backlash set to where I want it. Now I'm gonna have to get some of the gear marking compound, and we'll see the drive pattern. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Now I can pull this out. Keep the shims where they are since I've got the backlash set and the gear pattern is okay. Wait for the locker seals to rock up, pull that locker apart. I might even pull the locker apart while I wait, see why it's leaking internally. Mark the gear. One gear off it. Get a rag, I'll give it a clean. Then I'll separate that, we'll get the seals out of it, and we'll have a bit of a look at it and see what's leaking. Everything's very dirty in here. I'm gonna have to give everything a really good clean. So I fully pulled this all apart, cleaned it out. Now I pull the engagement ring off. We'll have a look at that, check it for its condition, because these can crack. And this one is actually in really good condition. There's no rounding on here, so this hasn't been cracked locked at all. And then I'll get a pick and we'll get the seal out. It's a bonded seal, this one, so it's metal in the middle and then rubber on the outsides, and it's full of oil. So I'm assuming that this had bad oil in it, which we already know, multiple times, and then this seal doesn't do its job. It either swells up or it just leaks. And then you have issues with the compressor cycling. It still worked, but it wasn't 100%. So I've ordered a new one of these. I've ordered the new seal housing for the outside of this, and when they get here, I'll be able to put it all back together and it'll be 100%. Rear diff's all pulled apart, cleaned, locker is all fully apart. I'm gonna move on to the front now. So I'm gonna jack the front up. You may be thinking, what have I got for the front of the Jeep? So lockers in this is also leaking. So I've got locker seals. I've got RCV chromoly axles for the Dana 30. And I've got heavy duty ball joints. So these things, the ball joints always flog out. And I've got to take them off to get the diff out. And I thought, Dana 30 is really weak. If he wants any chance at trying to keep up, we will put some chromoly axles in it. Big old SP Tools gun, putting in the work, not even the drama. One CV out. As you can see, the axle seal seals all the way up here, not down here like what a patrol wheel. And they just have a uni joint. So we're replacing that with a full CV, but it's also chromoly. I've got this side pulled apart, CV out, clean this up. I just wanted to check what ball joints it's got to bother whether I put the new ones in or if these are good quality, good ones, I'll keep the new ones as spares. While I'm in here, the top ball joint is greasable. Put this nice new grease gun on there, which it actually locks on. Unlock it and lock it, which is very handy. You don't actually have to hold it. That'd be good. Good to go. All right, I've got the locker out. Now I'm going to take it to the bench. You can see why they say these are weak. That fella is tiny. Pull this crown wheel off, pull this apart, get the seals out, have a bit of an inspection, see what's going on with them. Crown wheel's off, you can sit over here. Now we can flip this over and get to pulling this apart. Is that loose? Felt loose. That one's also loose. This is the one that was leaking the most, and I didn't even crack either of these. See what's going on in here. Got to keep these two diffs separate. I've got two diffs on the bench here. Both going to be pulled apart. Alright, that's the spring pressure. All these little springs. These are a tiny little diff.
I'm just taking the Skoda to Benny.
Yeah?
I'll be back.
Beautiful. You f***ing tell someone who cares, eh? Interrupt my filming again, see what happens. Boss man dickhead coming up here, mate. Right as I'm filming. Engagement gear on this one is also good. No crash locking, as you can see. Caught it, mate. Caught it. Now let's get this bonded seal up and we'll see if there's any oil behind it. If there is oil behind it, we know it's been leaking, don't we? And that is full of oil, so this seal has been leaking. It's obviously compromised, probably from oil contamination. Let's move on to pulling out all these gears and inspecting those. Where that runs, the seal runs there is good. I think they've got a shim on the wrong side of that bearing. It's probably half the reason that's leaking. But we'll figure that out. Love playing the old fixing someone else's fuck up. Got all them out, checked all the gears. All the hard facing and all them is all fine. So I'm going to clean these all off, give them just a wipe down and a brake clean, reassemble it, re-Loctite the pins. They'll be ready for the seals to come. You need to check these cross shafts don't have any wear on them, because if they have wear on them, you've got to replace them. Otherwise you'll wallow out the housing. So we're back in the shed. Another day. I'm working on the Jeep today. As you can see, I've been to ARB. So we were waiting for a bunch of seals for both of these air lockers so that I could finally change them, and some bearings. I'm going to go ahead, start assembling these divs and give you a bit of an insight on how to get that done. So I've got that clean, all in where this little bonded seal goes. So this is the front diff I'm going to do first. It's a metal piece in the middle with 2 bits of rubber square double-edged seals bonded to it on the end. So I'm going to get that installed, but I'm going to put some lubrication on this first. Some oil or some rubber grease. I'm not sure if we have rubber grease, so I'll just grab some oil, push that in nice and evenly, and I'll finish it off with the actual locking mechanism when I can make it line up. So that's all the way home. That seal's in. Mate, what are you fucking doing, mate? What are you fucking doing, mate? Now that I've got the seal in there, I'm going to clean this surface really good that pushes on it. Make sure there's no swarf, dirt, debris in there, so it's nice and clean. We don't want anything to contaminate or potentially cut the seal. So a bit of brake cleaner, a bit of a wipe. We'll get him in his home, and then we need to reinstall all the springs. That's all the springs installed. Sit that gear straight back on top. Give it a good wipe out where it goes. we'll pick this up, line up the little screw dots, grab the tiny little screws that clamp these sides both together. We'll give them a brake clean and a Loctite because we don't want them coming apart. Got some Loctite, push. I've got some Loctite on these 2 bolts. These are the ones that were loose to start with. So I imagine these have already been apart once before and whoever did it didn't Loctite it. So very important to Loctite it. All right, they're done up. That locker is pretty much happy days. So now I'm gonna move on to doing the same on this rear locker. Pull the ring out of that one. So we want these things to be as clean as Tyler's jokes. No dirt in there at all, mate. Next step, I'm gonna start with the front diff, ring and pinion. Well, the crown wheel, ring gear, whatever you want to call it. Don't be getting upset because I call it the wrong thing. Call it whatever you want, doesn't matter to me. Need to clean all of these bolts, spotless, so I can Loctite them. Just want to make sure that the bolt holes line up before I get it seated home because you can't adjust it once it's started to be pressed onto the carrier. It's a bit of a tight fit. All right, they're all lining up. I'm going to go around, get a soft mallet, and I'm going to tap this back home, and then I can get them all, pull them all out, Loctite them, put them all together. We are all the way made at home. So now I can pull all these out, clean them all up, get them Loctited. So Tyler's away. He's taking my good SP rattle gun. I'm going to use this pissy little thing, but that's all right because I have to hit these with a torque wrench anyway, so I'd probably, not the end of the world, but a bit annoying. Tyler, get your own tools, mate. They're shed tools. You take this away when you go away, mate. That diff's assembled. Locker is assembled. Move on to the next one. Do the same thing. Line the gear up. Loctite all the bolts. Rinse and repeat. Pretty much grown up Lego. That's all you need to know. Got me out here looking like an Oompa Loompa. Next up, I need to change the 2 bearings on the carriers. I've got new ones from ARB, so these are, pretty sure they're USA made Timken bearings. That's where they're from. It's what ARB supply when you get them from there, so got them. I just have to pull these off. I don't have the exact 2-prong puller to get up under it, so I'm going to try with this fella, locked under this top ring, and then pull it off. So we'll see how that goes. Well, boom. I've got that top bearing off. Now I gotta do the same thing for the bottom. Now I can press the new ones on. Beautiful. No damage, perfect. Just how you want it. Next step, we have new bearing. Sit it on top of the diff. Find a spacer that fits on the inner race only. We don't want to damage the bearing. Gonna get that sitting right where it needs to be. Both of them fully seated, ready to go. Next step, we've got the 2 seal housings, the original one and the new one, and I've just bent it to a very similar shape, and now I am going to trim it to a similar shape because we don't want that hitting the diff. So you've got to make sure you use a automotive or even just like a copper pipe cutting tool, otherwise leaves a nice sharp edge. Cut your new little O-rings that go over the end, and you can get sharp scales, pointy, and whatever it's called, I can't think right now. Debris in there. Boom, next step, torque all these bolts to spec. And they're all Loctited, so they're not going anywhere. And I will mark all of these with a paint pen. That way we know they're done and torque to spec. I'm going to do the same for the front diff. Torque wrench. This is the first time I've used this torque wrench. It's a 3/8 SP Tools non-digital, so it's just, you know, analog. Feels nice in hand. It's got a nice little lock on the back, so it doesn't come loose. You can't accidentally twist it and change the torque as you're pulling on it. And it's got a nice click to it. Next up, I'm going to put these lockers in the car. Pretty hard to film without Tyler here, so I'm going to see what I can get done. You've already seen me pull them out. It's the opposite, put them back in. I've already set them all up. Next step, I've got both diffs bolted in, air lines hooked up. I'm going to turn the compressor on, turn the locker on, and I'm going to set a stopwatch and see if they cycle. I'll also listen for air while I do it to make sure there's no leaks before I go putting axles and everything else in. Next step, now that I have the diff in and I've tested it, doesn't leak. It's held air for nearly 7 minutes without it even cycling. I thought that's long enough, I'm not gonna wait any longer. We have RCV chrome moly axles. And these have a proper CV joint rather than a uni joint on the factory ones. Here is the comparison. As you can see, this just has a uni joint. This has a CV shaft with a seal. There's grease in there, you know. This is made out of chrome moly. This is just normal steel, so these are much, much stronger. It's gonna beef up this front end. Gonna beef it up. Gonna beef it up. So the next step, I've just ground out this hub with the tool they give you to mark it out. So now we need to slide the orange seal into the hub, put the CV through it. Boom. You need to bolt the carrier, the wheel bearing on, and then we can get to putting the orange seal on. I'll show you that in a minute. Now that we have the wheel bearing and the hub all bolted on, we need to get this back seal on. I need to get a pry bar and see if I can get that pried on. Couldn't find a pry bar exactly, so I've got a really big screwdriver. I think we're about halfway on so far. Alright, that's one done. Now I'm going to do the other side. So now we've got the front all back together. We're going to move on to the rear. I've already got the centre in the car, all rebuilt with new seals, lockers, bearings, the whole lot. So now we've got chrome moly rear axles. So they're going to be a fair bit stronger than the other ones, but we also did have a leaky rear axle seal. So let's get them in. These come with your seal, your bearing, retainer, everything you need to straight up fit them. The driver's side of the car's done. I'm going to bang out this side. There's a bit of fiddling, a bit of cleaning, then I'll get to banging it in, mate. Next job up on the Jeep, I've got the axles in. I need to clean where this cover goes and then get this sealed up, and we'll put diff oil in it, make sure there's no leaks. I find the best way to get sealant off this quickly is, you know, you get yourself a nice little drill, just like this SP one, put a wire wheel on it, and then it doesn't take any metal off, but it sure rips off all the silicone. I've got the rear pumpkin cover here, the rear diff cover. Now you get all the old oil and rubbish off it. I'll give that a nice clean. I won't get it spotless because I'm going to get all this off with my trusty, and that's going to put stuff all in here. So I'll get it mostly clean so it doesn't stick too bad, and then we'll run it and get it spotless. This thing's cleaner than Tyler's sense of humour, let me tell you. So now that I've got the axles in, diff oil in, cover on, I can put the ends all back together. So we'll grab the drum. That's the rear end all back together. All that's left to do now, adjust the handbrake up. But I'd call that lockers rebuilt, new bearings in the rear diff re-bearinged. Oh, and forgot the upgrades. Chrome moly axles in the back and RCV chrome moly axles in the front. So it's gonna be fun. He's gonna explode a front diff now instead of breaking an axle. Can't go wrong. Next job is a 1-inch body lift. And we are going this 1-inch body lift because we have that anti-rock sway bar, which doesn't fit without it. Not with sagged body mounts anyway, so It was cheaper to get a 1 inch body lift than it was to replace the mounts, and it's going to be more straightforward to fit once this is in anyway. There's a lot more room. So I'll give you a quick look at the kit. It's just a couple of different size bolts, some washers and some pucks that go in between, and it looks like a little bit of a bump stop, which I'm not sure where they go. They give us a QR code for instructions, so I'll get into that, have a look, see what we've got to do. I'll get it done. I'm going to start this one by undoing the cab mounts all along this one side. I'm going to undo the other side, but I'm going to leave one so when I jack it up, the whole body doesn't move and lose its location. It stays centered. There's not much room to film on the other side, so I'm just going to go do that, and then I'll be back. The jack wasn't quite working out, it wasn't too safe, it kept trying to slide off. I've got to get under there, put my hand in. I don't want to crush a finger or anything. I'll get stuck, I'll have to yell out for Tyler. So I've opted for the engine crane, straight on a slider with a strap, so it pulls pretty much straight up, none of this sideways, so the cab doesn't shift. I've got the back one in, I've got those 3 middle ones in, and then there's also one just inward of this rear spring. I need to put that in now, so I'm going to crawl under the car. It's going to be a bit hard to film. You probably won't see it, but that's what I'm up to. So the kit comes with new longer bolts to suit, so I will get started with those. All of the new mounts in, back one, middle one, 3 of them, and the very front one. So gonna move over to bolts on this side and we'll be good. Now that I've got them all in and sort of tight, they said to torque them all to 81 Newton meters, and then I'll need to recheck these after the first 100 miles, it says. So they're all torqued. Next job up, re-drill the holes on this fan shroud, make it usable with the body lift, since the engine's down lower, the fan's down lower, but the radiator's up. See what we need to do to get that going. I think it's just 4 bolts. Might be a bit more than 4 bolts with how much stuff we have in this engine bay, but that's all right. Bam, wham, thank you, ma'am. We'll hook in. So I've got some verniers. I'm gonna measure how far I'm gonna cut it, drill it down. So I've got it set to exactly 20 mil. 20 mil. I'm gonna get a pen. I'm gonna mark it right on that 20 mil. I'm gonna drill a hole. Well, same thing on this one. Long. Same thing on this one. Gone and grabbed the 10 mil. Wait your bloody turn, mate. Trying to push in the line, mate. Are you serious? It's not happening. Now I'm gonna go and check if this fits, see if it lines up. Well, actually, before I do that, I need to cut this 20 mil higher. So to do that, I like an actual permanent marker this time, not a paint pen. From 20 mil lower, I need to go. Gonna get a flappy disc. I'll give it a bit of a clean up, make it look respectable. Now I'm gonna go see if that fits on the car with the newly drilled holes. Looks like it's gonna fit. I'm just gonna hop under the car, check it. Looks to see how much clearance there is. Looks good, we've got at least 10 mil the whole way around it. So I'll just get the spanner, I'll do that up. We'll be golden. Next up, rear anti-rock sway bar by Rock Jock. So I'm gonna install this down the back of the car. It's gonna be a bit hard to film, it's a bit fiddly, but you're gonna have a great outcome. You're gonna be able to see exactly how much better this is gonna be and why. I'll give it a bit of an explanation when I'm at the finish of it. This is gonna allow the rear to drive good on road, but still have much more flex than a factory sway bar setup. I've already poked the other side through. Now I need to get this side onto the bar and bolt it in. I'm currently just struggling to get the other mounting bracket on this. So I think I need to give it a few more hits and then I might be able to pull it in with the bolt. The next step I need to do, raise this all the way up, mark exactly where it's gonna hit, and then cut a big notch for clearance so we can have long travel. Now that I've got the bar and the arms mounted, I've got to piece together the links. So they give us a couple of ends, a couple of threaded rods with nuts, and then they also give us a little bracket that has to be welded to the diff housing. So I'm going to go ahead, assemble these, and then figure out where I am. I'm going to get a good ride height, find the middle of the travel. That's where I'll put the ride height, and then we'll have to flex it up with the flex ramp and either cut these down or lengthen these to suit. As you can see, I flipped the car around in the shed because there's no chance. I'm working in the sun. It's so hot in this shed. I have to weld the brackets onto the diff housing, so I'm about to rip the welder over. I've got to clean up a bit of a section, get them welded on there, see if I can weld these ones on there better than his panhard mount. Otherwise, we'll be back to Tenterfield for another upgrade. That is the rear sway bar all installed, welded on, bolted up, painted, fully finished. So that should give us some great improvements in up travel and down travel on this car, because before it was binding up, it didn't have enough flex in it. So I will still need to put it on the flex ramp. We'll get some shots of that. And I'll make sure that it's clearance and the arms don't fail on anything and that it's good to go off-road. We don't have seats bolted in, so we've got a safety step. This is OSHA rated. So this is going to be nice and safe, mate. Click, clack.
Seatbelt in, let's go.
Let's see if it might not work, it might. We'll figure it out. This one's too tall. I need to find a better chair. This looks like a pretty good chair. The fridge. Yeah, it looks better. These are rated for one small person to sit on. If you forget your camp chair, just bring a fridge. Oh, that feels heaps better. Could you put my bonnet down, Mr. Boss Man?
Yeah. That way a little bit. Yeah. Need lockers to go further.
Hey?
That's as far as you'll go unlocked.
Well, that's already hitting, mate. That's already hitting on the chassis, mate, and the other one's hitting on the tyre.
So that one hits the tyre and the other side hits the chassis.
And like them plates are fixed. You can't move them, and them arms are pre-bent. You can't adjust the arms. You can only adjust the length of the.
Another mod that doesn't work.
Mate, it's probably just needs some adjusting, mate. It needs some setting up.
So Berto's just adjusted a couple of things with those bracket, bent a few things. We'll try again and see if we don't clash on components this time. That's it without lockers. You're not on the chassis here.
And we're not on the tyre here. I've pried it over.
You're
so.
probably like a...
Yeah, that's good. Mate, it's got less flex than before, or what?
Maybe, I can't remember. It'll flex more. It seems to need...
Lockers.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because it's a lighter car, it doesn't have as much weight or something.
Yeah, it's half.
Like
half
it needs lockers to actually like push.
Just lifting the wheel.
Those back tyres coming off the ground then. You got a little bit more.
Sway bar's like holding it.
But yeah, like you still, you know, you're
Unless your spring rate is too hard as well.
You're 7-8 mil off there.
Yeah, that's perfect for that. We're not even on front bump yet either. Like I swear we had this thing on bump and everything.
Yeah.
In the front, but the front's not even flexing.
When you modify forward drives, nothing ever seems to go to plan. But
No.
this Jeep has been more difficult than any forward drive by far.
It's hard to get parts.
It's hard to get parts, and then you get parts and they just don't seem to work that well. Some of them do, some don't.
I think we've been stitched up from the start when Lakin first ordered the lift kit. That was wrong.
Yeah.
And it's obviously got the wrong springs, short shocks, half the stuff's wrong. And now we're just like, you know, doing all the mods that you need for supporting, but we still don't have the correct foundation.
Yeah.
So it makes it seem like it's hard, but I'm sure it's not that hard if you just order everything right from the get-go.
Yeah.